I'm not one to cast judgment. I just think if you drink tea, you're smarter than someone that drinks like, I don't know, like a, like coffee with like a lot of creamer in it or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm just more right inherently. Anyway, you guys want to check out this video that Lauren Southern did? Why the media lie about Ukraine. Oh, and she has like a cup of really heavily creamed coffee. Wouldn't you know? That's pretty strange. Serendipitous. I didn't even say that on purpose. It just happened. Odd. Pretty odd. Anyway.
New studio. Let's chat about Ukraine.
Okay, so if you don't know who Lauren Southern is, I guess we should have like a primer on Lauren Southern. She sucks. Okay, you're all caught up.
I have never in my life seen anything quite so bizarre as how Ukraine is being portrayed by the media right now. And I'm not just talking about the fake news, the ghost of Kiev, or the massacre of Snake Island stuff. No, I am talking about how Ukraine is being ideologically portrayed by the press. Anyone...
It's interesting that you would have, like, the issue... Like... Yes, we're going to get propaganda out of Ukraine. Like, of course, you're going to get propaganda out of Ukraine. It's wartime. It's in a country that's doing war stuff, and propaganda is often used not just to disinform people, right? It's not explicitly for the purposes of making them believe false information. It's for the purposes of morale and hope and stuff like that. Now, sometimes you're going to have issues. Like there was Ukraine interviewed on television a prisoner of war, which is against the Geneva Conventions because of the very manipulative things you can do when you share information with prisoners of war. However, I think Russia violated worse laws within, or worse conventions, or worse, I guess, bylaws of the Geneva Conventions. But it's going to happen. It depends on how it works, but I don't think that propaganda happens at all means that it is somehow nefarious or something. Because, of course, Lauren knows that she's talking to a bunch of right-wing conservatives, and for some reason, right-wing conservatives have taken to really liking Russia, like a lot. Now, I have a theory about this, one that we will discuss later when we talk about Tulsi Gabbard. But there seems to be a bit of money in it for folks, a bit of money in it for folks that want to go to bat for Russia.
Who has spent...
Which is interesting because, and I'm sorry to pause again. I know she talked for like 1 second, but I want to mention that you see a lot of people in the Russia grift era or area of like the internet saying things like, oh, look at these leftists paid by the CIA and shit. Like they're doing like conspiracy level stuff. I think that is it feels like projection. Like, because if they're doing it, if they're actually getting paid by Russia, it's hard to say, no, you know what I mean? Because basically it's like, no, you are, is the answer. And that sounds weak. But, I'm sure there will be receipts. Tulsi specifically.
Any amount of time with Slavic friends or family know that most people from that region of the world are highly conservative. They are traditionalist and even far right in some cases. And I actually mean far right, not, ooh, I don't like socialism that much. Bam, you're on a Nazi list on Twitter. No, actually far right. And as for the general population, it is family first, community first, closed borders, Christian, Orthodox, like hardcore. 71% of Ukrainians are Christian. More than that, I think. Gay marriage isn't even legal in the country. Their polling for being anti-homosexuality is through the roof.
A lot of this is true. Sure. I don't know why, because Ukraine is conservative, that we need to justify war against them and like harming them. Now, that said, the president that was elected by the country to lead is all pro these things, at least according to public record. Like, they voted for a man that I mean, has relatively good opinions Do you think Lauren Southern is saying that like right-wing Christian nationalism is a bad thing to have? Because I don't know if her fans are going to like that.
In Pew Research polling, when it came to the importance of gender equality in Ukraine, they ranked second last, only defeated by, drumroll, Russia, and all the way from Croatia to Ukraine.
They're not ranked dead last if they're in front of somebody. I'm just tossing that out there. It's a nitpick, but it's important.
They are staunchly anti-communist, for good reason. Yet, if you...
Dude, she does a mouth slap that I have never noticed. She does this a lot.
Read media headlines about Ukraine, you would
as an emphasis on her being correct.
Think this were one of the most progressive countries on the damn planet. It's all about getting those gay soldiers involved. We'll have that artificially trending on Twitter all week. How women are out here girl bossing it up on the battlefield, even if they are just holding airsoft rifles. Zelensky has even just revised history by stating Ukraine was previously a safe haven for Jews during the Holocaust. Not true. And just about every single massive progressive influencer on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you are, have draped themselves in Ukrainian flags like it is their new identity.
Fascinating. I think it's always interesting when there's this sort of like liberal portion of the pro-Ukraine stuff that's basically just like, yeah, let's kill Russians. And then there's like progressives who I don't think are doing that. And then there's leftists. And then there's tankies, I guess. But then there's leftists who have, the best takes about Ukraine typically that we see. But it seems like people to the right of all of these groups, liberals being the furthest right of those groups that engage in this, are all just like staunchly pro-Russia and making that their personality. They're like truckers, gas prices, Russia, yeah. Like, I don't know how you can be mad at dudes for doing this. I guess if you're also doing it, it's very strange. Now I don't have a Ukraine thing in my bio. I don't care if someone does. I talk about not that very much, so. Because there's not much to add to it. Everybody else is doing it, so.
Yeah, been a couple weeks since I transformed.
It's fucking crazy loud, Lauren. Good job.
Into a Ukraine guy, and gotta say that I'm loving my new personality. Will you guys denounce Russia? Oh, you're still telling people to stay at home and get vaccinated?
Why are you just stealing this guy's jokes and content? The fuck? Is this just we're padding for time by showing this guy's jokes?
Really checked in on it.
Skip.
And what this has resulted in is a bunch of right-wingers observing this and getting super weirded out, wondering, is Ukraine this massive globalist progressive nation? And you know what? Maybe their leaders are. But as for the Ukrainian people, the actual people living in the country, this could not be further from the truth. So what the hell are the media doing? Why are they putting up this false portrayal? Well, I think there is a very good explanation for that, and we will get right into it after a quick thank you from our sponsor,
Nobody cares. That's really what the sponsor is. Our quick sponsor, nobody gives a shit. Although, okay, do you want to know what the ad was for? I'll actually show you because it's fucking hilarious. Okay, gold. Look at gold. Invest in gold, chat. Oh yeah, we're in that part. We're in that part of right-wing YouTube where it's invest in the gold standard, chat. When the lefties come for your guns and your wealth, you'll still have bars of gold. I guess. Invest in gold. Have some of it. That's an investment. If you have some gold, you've invested. It's pretty good. Anyone want to give me a bar of gold? That'd be pretty lit. Can one of you guys give me a bar of gold? That'd be okay. I don't even think I'd sell it. I'd just keep it and be like, hey, I've got a bar of gold. No, I'd sell that shit pretty quick. Pretty quick.
So, as many of us know, the media have spent the last few years breeding a bunch of little psychopaths who are practically incapable of sympathizing with anyone who is not politically aligned with them.
What? She must be talking about liberals, dude. What? Why are we talking about liberals? I feel like we get erased from the conversation. There are some liberals who are like, yeah, fucking let's kill Russians, right? But that's not us.
Calls for or celebrations of death from progressives towards Republicans are almost a daily occurrence.
Oh,
Worse,
yeah. Wait. Calls for death? Like when they catch COVID or something after pushing COVID misinformation? Look, it's not about wanting you to die, okay? It's if you do something, it feels very satisfying for you to perish at the hands of your own misinformed like worldview. You know what I'm saying? It's just cathartic. It's not like I want anybody to die, but like it'd feel real good sometimes if some folks did from whatever they got going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever seen him really, like Hans Gruber falling off the top of the building at the end of the Die Hard movie? Spoilers for Die Hard. It's a satisfying end to the movie. I mean, it is what it is. Hans Gruber's the bad guy. Did I need him to die? Oh, I didn't need Hans Gruber. He could have got put away at the end of that. But was it a little more satisfying that Hans Gruber plummeted to his death? It is. It is more satisfying. Now imagine if Hans Gruber was anti-plummeting to your death, and he didn't let anybody plummet to their death, breaking our freedoms, and then chose to plummet to his death. Now that would be pretty satisfying.
Question of whether you should be allowed to physically assault someone for their politics is somehow up in the air for the media.
Because they're politics? No. There's a difference between having political opinions and being a fascist. Those are huge difference. You can haul off. You can uncork on a Nazi, okay? Like share a bottle of bubbly with them. This is what I mean, of course. You can share a bottle of bubbly with a Nazi. Definitely. All right? Easy. It's not even like really even an ethical question. In fact, it's also a carbon neutral act. Just so you know. So it's good for the environment to make percussive noises with Nazis. Did you hear that? Make music, chat. It's about the arts. Yeah. Fist a Nazi with their consent.
This came to light with
Sort
the
of.
whole punch a Nazi fiasco.
No. Who would do that? No. We don't want to do that. Making music? Percussion? Come on. We're going to put you over here, by the way.
In 2017, when Richard Spencer was punched in the face,
A friend of Lauren, Richard Spencer.
unprovoked, and massive amounts of people said
Unprovoked? Bro, I don't
This
know.
was-
I don't know if Richard Spencer getting punched in any circumstance is him getting punched unprovokedly. Like I'm pretty sure that's exactly the right circumstances in which he is eligible to be knocked around a bit. You know what I mean? Like, he showed up. What are we supposed to do with him? What do you mean? Richard Spencer arrived. What are we going to do? That guy gets punched in every room he walks into. It's just kind of part of it. There's no way that guy walks around getting not punched. I feel like he would feel a little bit like, you know how Will Smith in that no, not the slap, in the show that he did, where he goes, man, why don't he want me, man? And then the big sad. That's how Richard Spencer would feel if he went through a whole day without somebody giving him one on the kisser, because he needs that kind of validation.
perfectly A-okay because violence against Nazis is always justified.
Based based and true.
A concerning precedent, considering today's definition of Nazi is so broad it could include most of the men who landed on the beaches of Normandy to actually fight Nazis.
That's not what anybody means. That's just a straw man.
But none of these considerations...
Wait, hey, I'm sorry. If you're going to be pulling up the cup, I'll bring my cup up and I will meet you. In the beverage of choice wars. Mine's better. It's a black tea with raspberry and honey, chat.
Stopped the media and made them ponder the potential consequences of celebrating political violence. Nope, they just went
set it down.
Full steam ahead.
Full steam.
Richard Spencer got punched. You can thank the Black Bloc for that. There was video.
You can thank the Black Bloc.
Video after video, tweet after tweet, just trying to justify this. Massive comedians were even out here mocking the idea of having a discussion at all about whether you should punch Nazis or not.
No, I think, if you have one around, it's like not riding a horse. It's like not going fast in a Lamborghini. It's like, what's it like, chat? It's like only edging. It's like Sky Comet Fallen giving us 100 biddies. Conservatives, run over BLM with your car. Yay! Also conservatives. How dare you punch me? I mean, it's definitely good. The question is not should you punch Nazis. The question is how many times should you punch Nazis. I do think it gets unethical at a certain number of punches, right? Because think about the amount of energy you would need to endlessly punch one. You would require too many resources to keep up the pace. So you have to. I mean, there's layers to it. Yeah. Anyway, I think we'll just continue on. Oh, sorry, I'll give you the corns.
That it should just be an automatic yes. With no question.
Hey, thanks for following.
And then
for Angel Dust.
A punch in the face, right? Which was
just stealing content from fellas off of Twitter. Okay.
An amazing moment in comedy history. And then every white
I guess
liberal
we did a little bit of an edit there.
Came out of the woodworks going, I don't know if that's what we should be doing. Should we really be applauding someone for punching a Nazi? Is that how we want to have political conversations? Shouldn't we hear people out? If you punch a Nazi, it doesn't make you as bad as one.
I love this.
You know what we should do with Nazis? We should debate them, and we should defeat them in the marketplace of ideas. I don't really know where that is. I would like to defeat Nazis on planet Earth first. People get very upset. Oh, do you support political violence?
Literally, we're showing the clicks. Good God.
Do you want me to support political? Just slow down, okay? Do I support political violence? We're talking about punching fascists in the face, not suicide bombing, okay? Relax. Why do I support political? Why the fuck are you a volunteer Nazi safety advocate is my question.
That's a good fucking joke. That is a good joke. Really like it. That's delightful. Good job.
Behold, fast forward 5 years, and here comes good old Vladimir Putin out of nowhere with a spicy speech about how he needs to immediately denazify Ukraine. It's a total disaster over there, full of radicals. They just need to be eliminated immediately. Okay. And worse, Putin's got more than just a Pepe pin to prove it. They've got full-on examples of battalions supporting Nazism. They've got soldiers with black sun pins over their uniforms, videos of them Sieg Heiling with swastikas tattooed.
Sure.
The nation even named a Nazi a national hero at one point.
True. Yes.
And I know what you may be thinking. Come on, Lauren. You can't be serious here. Their leader, Zelensky, is Jewish. Lauren, it's only a handful of rogue battalions. Lauren, there's only some people wearing black sun badges. They don't represent everyone. Trust me, I know. Of course I know this. I've been saying this stuff for years.
Wait, hold on. When someone like me, Lauren, says it's okay if you share some delicious bubbly and uncork that bubbly onto and around a Nazi, right? When I say that you can haul off on one of these puppies, all right, it does not mean that I think that you can bomb their neighborhood. There's a slight difference between bombing Richard Spencer's neighborhood and punching him in the face. A slight, minuscule difference, but it's a nuance that maybe we should respect.
But do you think that matters to the average progressive? When has nuance ever mattered to progressives?
That's not nuance. What do you mean? Hot take, Lauren. Go kill just those Nazis. Huh? What if you just killed only those Nazis? I'm fine with that. Those guys are engaging in military conflict in the east side of Ukraine over there, right? And then there were some Nazis, and then they said they wanted to denazify. Now, they didn't have permission to go in there and do that, so I'm against that. The sovereignty of nations is important, and not that borders matter, but since borders exist, sovereignty matters. But they didn't do that, did they? They just started bombing other folks that weren't even involved in that, and a president who doesn't support them.
One Confederate flag at a rally in Canada with hundreds of thousands of people got the truckers labeled white supremacists overnight, extremists that needed to be eliminated through the Emergencies Act. Jews are called Nazis all the time in America and Canada when they have right-wing views. That never saved anyone from an accusation here. In the modern witch hunt against perceived Nazis in the West, there is no room for nuance or explanation. There is no room for, oh, that's just a small fringe group within the larger group supporting Trump. No. The media have spent years using one picture, one badge, one flag to totally delegitimize entire groups of people as Nazis and far right, censor them and attack them. So in large part, when the media try to sit here and try to go through all the little nuances of how different individual opinions matter in this country, about how, Putin might be exaggerating or blowing things up, there's a larger context. It looks ridiculous compared to how they treat people in their own countries.
That's not the case, Lauren. It's not even close. I wouldn't love to talk to Lauren, but I would. I don't like to platform people like that. Anyway. Discord Vol says the presence of the Azov battalion makes the entire country ceremonially unclean. You aren't counter-revolutionary, are you? That's true. I don't think that because Lauren and other conservatives exist, and some of them I consider white nationalists and Nazis and would call them so, I don't think that they need to have I don't think they need to be gunned down in the streets necessarily. This implies such a hard line, we want to murder all the folks that disagree with us thing, and that's not the case. At least not for me. Maybe some really far left militant tankies. But even then, it's usually the most militant tankies I can think of, right? Don't want, at least the community ones, the ones that live in America, that are they're militant about their community and stuff. Usually it's oh, there's one Nazi here that has a problem in our community and we would like them to be gone. But they don't go kill these people. They monitor them and they do community watches and they have solidarity with one another. There hasn't been left-wing death squads roaming neighborhoods to purge the baddies out. What? This is not a thing. You know who does do that kind of shit though? Fucking right-wingers. Right-wingers do that. Yet? Well, you push a little bit and that'll happen, but excuse me, you gotta have a if you are a far right winger, I think it is perfectly fine for you to have a healthy paranoia about your activities in your in your community. A healthy paranoia. I think you should feel not comfortable wherever you are if you are a Nazi. That's true.
And I think they're starting
An
to
actual
realize
Nazi too, not like whatever Lauren said that we call them.
that and realize it's just easier to invent a new identity for Ukraine than try to defend the one they actually have. And if any information gets in the way of that, like NATO posting the Ukrainian soldier with a black sun badge accidentally, well, they'll just delete it and move on. Make a story about how gay people are killing it in the Ukrainian military, revise both history and present to match the current narrative, and God forbid, for a second, they acknowledge that, while the Nazis are a minority group in the country, the majority of Ukrainians are still right-wing nationalists, as many people are in that region, because if they were to even acknowledge a truth as simple as that, and what should be a not shocking truth or surprising truth, well, then Putin might as well be right. Because most
It's so funny how she's too spineless to say that she thinks Putin is correct, right? But she's saying instead he might as well be correct because the left is so wrong.
Westerners,
how does she get there though? Who knows?
To consume
this doesn't make any logical
think
sense.
That nationalism is akin to Nazism anyways. They think being right-wing makes you associated with Nazis or the far right. So Putin, I suppose, would just be taking punch-a-Nazi theory to a geopolitical level. Invade a Nazi to denazify them. Forget any debate over nuance, any debate over whether it's just one person in a larger group. Nope, just punch him.
Okay, we already talked about it. This doesn't make any sense.
Just eliminate them, like Trudeau would after he sees a Confederate flag, right?
Trudeau, after seeing a Confederate flag, which is an enemy nation. You're in Canada, dog. You don't get to fly a fucking Confederate flag, all right? You got to be below the Mason-Dixon, no further west than Texas. That's it. That's the bar. You get to have that, and then when you do have it, you're a racist. That's it. You get those sometimes up here in Michigan, which is hilarious, because Michigan played a major role in destroying them. He's killing pregnant women. How is it anywhere near punching a Nazi? Oh, well.
Right? It is really tragic to watch the media have to do this, to have to behave this way, because what it tells you is unless Ukrainians are generally perceived as progressive and their country as progressive, many Westerners would simply be incapable of sympathizing with them in their struggle. The media cannot portray them as what they actually are, lest the public tell the Ukrainian people they deserve to be attacked, as they tell so many conservatives and right-wingers who have been assaulted over the years that they were...
Victim narrative. We're victim narrative? Fuck. Lauren, jeez. I just can't. She's such a liar, dude. What a Weasley little liar, dude. Like, every time and it's like so not veiled. Like, I don't believe that Lauren has conviction in this at all. Do you read like genuine belief in Lauren? No, it sounds like she crafted this because she knows where she makes her money. She's disgusting. Lauren has always been disgusting.
Asking for it with their bigoted opinions. Imagine if the media were constantly writing about the Azov battalion or constantly highlighting the black sun and far-right symbolism on Ukrainian uniforms the way they search for far-right symbols in everything from OK signs to TPUSA stages in the West where it doesn't even exist. How many left-wingers would drop that flag in their bio on a dime? If you genuinely...
Drop the flag on a dime. That's not really how that... Stopping on a dime means that you were moving quickly, and then you stop in the space that a dime would take, the few but you had to be moving for that. Like you ran and you stopped on a dime and turned the other direction. Like, this is not what that expression means. This is a nitpick again, but it's kind of one that's used a lot in sports, so it feels near and dear to my heart. Okay. Near and dear. TPUSA had controversy in having far-right people in it and has some members that have been exposed. Didn't they also do, like... they did the big Nazi symbol stage. Like, okay.
Have strong convictions about how invading other countries is wrong or about how political violence is wrong, it should never have been up for question or debate if certain worldviews deserve it or not for you.
But you're saying that they do deserve it, Lauren. Your argument here implies that the right-wing position, the correct position, is that Russia should invade Ukraine? What? Because it's either you don't agree with Putin on this one or you do, right?
The media should be able to defend nationalists and right-wingers rather than having to invent or ignore the ideology of the people they are defending to make it consistent with the narrative of the good people and the bad people they've created in their minds. It's a terrifying world that we are headed to, where many of the media's narratives are reaching difficult ideological crossroads, and they are doing as much mental gymnastics as they possibly can to keep their stories straight. And yet, even as their house of cards gets shaky, it still seems
There's so many buzzwords in this. Is this a template and she just sort of plugged in some of her thoughts?
to be holding up, with so many stuck in this ideological trap, just waiting for the press to tell them what they should support, what they should say, what they should believe about the world with little question. And they're getting such a distorted perception of what the world and people in different countries are like. And it's just going to get so much worse as we enter this multipolar world where you have China, Russia, India, all of these countries with their own set of media, and then the West with our set of media, and none of it communicating or getting through to each other. And all we can really do is hope that the
Caring, she's pretty and smart, bro. Your bar from what is smart is so like the fact that you think that Lauren Southern is smart is just insane. Well, you gotta be a chud, right? There's just no way. Yeah, you've had 9 messages in here, and there's no way they're smart. K-pop is cringe. K-pop. Bad K-pop. K-pop bad. Bad K-pop. Lauren's pretty. Lauren Southern is classically beautiful. Lauren Southern might be disgusting. However, Lauren and her objectively higher IQ compared to Candace Owens. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm just gonna ban you. You're fucking weird. What a weird interest, like... Why are you pitting her against Candace? Strange. Sounded a little racist too. I don't know. I think Candace Owens is smarter than Lauren Southern, and whoever you're attracted to most is whatever.
Cognitive dissonance of our own press catches up with them eventually, and people start to actively do the legwork and look for other information, whether that be local Ukrainian media, Indian media, Chinese media, even just to see what they're saying. I think that's extremely important because our press, I'm not saying the global press are good. I think everyone's spinning a bit of a story and a narrative, some worse than others, but so are our press. And if we don't recognize that, we're going to be as ideologically stupid as the indoctrinated people we make fun of in North Korea or Russia or anywhere in the world. It's going to get to that point. And I appreciate all of you who watch my videos, who look for and actively seek other opinions, not just my own, but many other creators with different perspectives. I hope you keep that up. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit like, comment below, share it.
She just wants an open discourse chat. And there's a lot of this, like. Lauren Southern is not alone in the kind of ways that they're communicating the Ukraine thing. I mean, it's just a situation where there's not really a defensible position to, like, you cannot justify Russia's actions. It doesn't make any sense. It's not justifiable. And to take a position that implies that the opposition to it is somehow like, oh, look at you cheering for the bad guys. It's like, I don't care what they believe. If there was a nation of Nazis, right, and they were just vibing, and they weren't doing anything except being nationalists, they get to run their country how they want, until they start doing like nationalized like bad shit. You don't have an ethical obligation to go in there, and certainly Russia isn't the one that is ethically obligated. It was clear that Russia just wants land, and they're getting their asses kicked. There doesn't seem to be much of an advantage here for folks that want to side with Russia. I have no idea why you'd plant your political flag in this. As an American in general, it just doesn't make any sense because pro-Russia does not play. I realize that Donald Trump had a little bit of we're friends with Russia stuff going on, and like, hey, Putin's not a bad guy, like some of that, and so there's a little bit of the runoff from the Trump presidency and his stuff, but like, I have no idea why you'd hitch your wagon to this in America as any political person. Not only because it's just flat incorrect, but it's also Russia. Like, it's really fascinating to see them trying to do this, because I don't feel as though the general populace has this Russia was actually correct take. It's like not even the most of conservatives. So this isn't like a line in the sand that needs to be drawn, really.